because this has to be a one take, because I literally have no time to edit this video together. Hello, if you don't know who I am Lily Valentine on YouTube. This is my second channel, Lily Valentine, which is my personal projects channel. My main channel is gaming, and it's linked on the channel if you want to go check it out at all. But that's not what we're here for today. We're here for a competition. So essentially, some friends of my parents are doing a competition for their brand Loot in a Boot, where they're releasing this figure called RK. And if you bought the journal, which I have, by the way, this amazing journal, it's pretty cool, the design's pretty cool, and then you wrote a story before April 4th and submitted a video on YouTube, you enter the competition to win the first figure. And this is what this video is, being recorded at 9:07 p.m. So I have to record this and then upload it, so this is a one take. So we had to write a story and adventure, and then record a video of us reading it out loud. And I thought it'd be cool to do a vase reveal with this one, because it's a pretty cool thing. I have written a story. I wrote it over the space of 2 days because I've been putting it off for way too long. And it's called A Desolate World. Now, this is only part 1 of 2. I am going to release the part 2 video eventually when I actually write the second part. But I realized as I was writing it today, I wasn't going to get everything I wanted done in the story. So I decided to split it into 2 parts. By the way, if you want to start straight to the story, it's time stamped. So I'm just going to ramble a tiny bit before we start. So, yeah, this is part 1, The Sacrifice. This is set in my universe called Where Did the Stars Go? And there's going to be some establishing stuff in the story, so I'm not going to go into what the story is about. But I've got plans for this universe, and if you are ever interested after hearing the story, consider subscribing for the story, because I got so many plans for this story. It's going to take a few years to write it all out. And it is very exciting. This is a passion project. I'm so excited. I got 4 stories planned over the next couple of months, and a 5th bonus story to finish off the arc. And this is only part 1 of the first story, because I just couldn't finish the story in time. But I landed it off in a narratively satisfying way, so you don't need to wait for part 2 to come out. Part 2 will continue from this point, but I'll leave you in a way that feels good until part 2 comes out. Anyway, enough of me rambling. If you want to check out Loot in the Boot, I can't link it in this channel website right now because I don't have channel history or anything, so I can't actually put links. But it's lootinaboot.com, I think. If not, I'll figure it out for part 2. But it's called Loot in the Boot. They have some pretty cool stuff coming out. I know they have a figure coming out pretty soon, and one coming out later this year. They're collectibles. They're pretty cool. We have seen them on the Discord and stuff. They also have a Discord. Check out the YouTube channel as well. Thank you so much for this competition. I think I'm the only one submitting something for this competition, so I don't know. We'll see in 2 hours and 50 minutes when the deadline hits. Anyway, speaking of deadlines, let me show off my display capture. This is for the story. This is why I'm sitting here instead of in the middle, because the story is here, so you can read along. I'm hoping I can zoom in a little bit. Yes, thank you. So this story is 5,000 words long. I wrote this over 2 days. So if there's any mistakes in the writing at all or anything, I'm going to fix them out. This story, I know I'm talking a lot about the story, but I timestamped it. You want to go read the story, it's timestamped. I'm just doing my pre-ramble. This story is part 1. I think it's going to be 10k words by the end of it. And then I'm going to release part 1 and 2 separately. Then I'm going to release one video of me reading it together, maybe with a guest appearance. And it's going to have some changes and some fixes to make it one coherent story instead of 2 parts of a story, while still having the 2-part structure, because obviously it's written in 2 parts now. So this is called The Desolate World, a Where Did the Stars Go story. Part 1, The Sacrifice. Cold. All I felt was cold. I collapsed in the blizzard. In between streams of consciousness, I felt them dragging me through it. They wore thermal suits that rubbed against my skin, most likely to keep some warmth. With the temperature rapidly declining into the negatives, I didn't blame them. With how much I passed out, I had to be dying. At least that would have been better. But unfortunately, reality isn't so nice, so I lived. I could see the fire in the distance, a rare occurrence. I was surprised it wasn't stuffed out completely by the storm. It would be some warmth though, so I didn't have any complaints. The camp extended much further than just the fire, however. The tents connected to a rundown building, and what I can only make out is pillories just out of the fire's reach. Strangely enough, there was one by the fire too. As I tried to concentrate again, I started to notice more details. My saviors seemed to be wearing white robes under their thermal clothes, which were disguised in the snow before. Furthermore, they all wore cross necklaces. They must have been religious, thank God, literally. When they got me closer, I started to finally feel warmth of the flame. And for a moment, everything was peaceful. But it was only for a moment. I began taking a closer inspection of the camp and noticed something strange. In the pillories, multiple people were locked in, and when they took a turn towards that direction, it suddenly hit me what these people intended to do. They weren't there to save me. They had another plan. I just didn't know what. I tried to break my way out of their grasp, but I still felt too weak from the cold, so they soon secured me in one of the pillories. Cruelly enough, it was just out of reach of the fire. The cold started to consume me again. And just like that, they walked away. I attempted to break free, but the wood pressed my hands and head in place. I couldn't escape. I had to wait and see what they wanted to do with me. The thought made me try hard to do so. I wouldn't do that if I were you, a gruff feminine voice called from my right. They may take you first. I hesitated before asking, what do you mean? Calm down, you'll see. She gave a slight chuckle. Well, don't. It's your choice, really. I could already tell she was cruel, but who wasn't? It was the apocalypse after all. 13 days and counting. 13 days since the stars disappeared. As the confusion settled down in people and the temperature started to fall, everything went to hell. Though I wished it was hell, it would be warmer. Maybe it was the darkness in the sky that drove people insane, or the idea that we were all going to die anyway, but everyone turned on each other. Dead bodies laid the streets I once walked through, and I nearly tripped countless times on supply runs for any essentials me and my. Ultimately, everything fell apart. My thought stream was interrupted suddenly by the sound of a pillory being lifted and the screams of a girl. I tried to turn my head, but I realized I was locked in place. All I could do was bear the torture of hearing her shriek as they dragged her along. The sound of another pillory being brought down cuts through the noise, and she is quickly shut up. Did they gag her? A voice broke through the sudden silence. Good job, men. You're doing God's work. It was deep, raspy, certain. Now the easy part. You cleaned off your axe. An axe? What was he planning to do? No, sir. Sorry, the other man replied. A slap followed and then a shriek. Then go clean it. Silence, only interrupted by the click of footsteps through the snow, or the whimper of the girl, who I was sure was gagged by now. The man returned quickly after, his footsteps once again breaking the silence. Clean? Yes, sir. Good. He remained silent for a moment. The blizzard began to pick up. Do you know why we are here? Do you know why the stars are gone? God has abandoned us. He lets them ruminate in the idea before continuing. We must pay for our sins. Everything he has given us is a gift, but we consumed and consumed to no end, going against all his lessons. Look how we paid the price, he yelled. This is how we paid the price. Do you understand me? Yes, sir, multiple voices responded, trembling with fear. He believes God has abandoned us. I had never given the idea much thought, but part of me was persuaded by what he said. How else would it have been explained? I could just make out the girl beside me chuckle. I have offered you the chance of salvation, a chance to live. What we do is in service of God. What we do is proving our loyalty so he may spare us. With this young woman and her honorable sacrifice, we are one step closer to freedom, one step closer to the stars. He put an emphasis on honorable sacrifice, holding on to every syllable of the words. Did he say sacrifice? Chop it off. The muffled screams of the girl were soon cut off, climaxing with her head hitting the snow. At least she was free. But I couldn't just stay there and let it happen. I attempted to break free again. It didn't clock to me she was gone. What are you doing? The gruff voice whispered to me. You idiot. We got a fighter, the leader called out to me. An element of cockiness slipped into his voice. The loud crunch of his boots moved closer to me as he eventually towered in front of me. As he leaned into my face, a smile slipped onto his lips. "You'll make a lovely sacrifice." I inhaled his breath as he walked away, and I could tell he'd only been eating canned food since the start. "We'll sacrifice him in the morning. Let's all get some rest." With that, the footsteps retracted and the silence pierced the air. I just killed myself. "So, that went well?" She wanted me to engage. She wanted to ridicule my idiocy. I wasn't going to let her. So I stood there, waiting to die. The cold slowly froze the tips of my fingers, numbing my senses and soon letting them slump into the limited room I had to move them. But I felt them touch something, very faintly. With all the strength I could muster, I moved them around the object. There was a metal arc holding onto a metal box. It was the lock. It had to be. Maybe, just maybe, I could break free. Gripping onto the object, I began to pull. I used to train my strength before the world ended, so I hoped I had enough to allow me to break off this lock. I pulled and pulled and pulled. I kept pulling because I could feel it slipping. Pull, 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 snap. Suddenly, the lock fell from my hand to the ground, and the bar of wood holding me in place allowed me to properly stand. I quickly stumbled into the snow and felt it between my fingers. I never thought I'd feel this again, so while it was slowly killing me, I embraced it. I just laughed with joy. That was until a voice broke through the silence. "You done celebrating, or are you going to help me?" In my moment of relief, I forgot about the only other person alive, trapped just like I was. "Give me a moment," I responded. Moving over to examine my lock, it was complete rust. No wonder it broke off so easily. Her lock was a different story. It was in almost perfect condition. Great. I attempted to break it off, but it wasn't budging. "I'm going to need to find a key," was the conclusion. "Well, be quick. If I even get the slightest idea you were leaving me, I'll start screaming." Of course she would. Yeah, she is definitely cruel. "Don't worry, I'm not going to leave you," is what I tell her as I move towards the camp. I can't have her blow my cover. The fire was miraculously alive, but I wasn't focused on it. Instead, my attention was diverted to the girl's body still laying in the pillory, her head left on the floor. A gag laid in her mouth, and the fear still lingered in her eyes. They didn't even clean her up, just left her there to rot. They even left the axe behind. I nearly threw up, but had to keep going. They had to have supplies left somewhere, but one wrong move and they would discover I'm free. I attempted to enter the main building, but the door was locked. I didn't want to risk breaking in, nor opening tents to potential hostiles' resting quarters. Maybe the girl would know something. In one last-ditch effort, I rounded the building. Nothing. Alright, time to take my chances. But how would I get free? The key was clearly with either a guard or the leader himself. It wouldn't just be laying around. And she sure as hell wouldn't talk without being let go first. She might have thought I was attempting to abandon her. Truth was, I really did want to leave her. After what happened with the other girl, I just couldn't. But if I couldn't unlock her, how else would I free her? My eyes snapped to the axe. They did leave it behind after all. She wasn't going to like the idea, but it was the only one I had. Reluctantly, I grabbed the axe. The bloodstain left on the blade sent a chill down my spine, but I had to push through. Dread filled me as I started to walk back to her. She was either going to think I wanted to kill her, or that I actually did want to help her, and I didn't want to bet on what it might be. "You finally find the key?" she remarked. "Something better," I responded, holding on to out the axe. I couldn't make out her face in the darkness, but the silence said it all. "It's the best idea I got, okay?" I will scream. She thought I wanted to kill her. Guess I had to be honest. "Look, I can't find the supplies without you. I have a feeling you may know where they are. Am I correct?" She nodded her head hesitantly. "So why would I kill you?" She took a moment before saying, "Fine, but be careful. One false move and I'll follow through on my promise." "Thank you." I moved in closer. The best bet was to cut off the lock. Whoever decided to place the locks right by the right hand must have been an idiot, but it made all this possible, so I thanked them. "Okay, lift your right hand, please." So she did. I started to lift the axe above my head, but before I swung, I heard her take a sharp breath in. She was really scared of me. I needed to make it quick. I took a swing at the wood dividing the two entrances for the lock. She flinched. A loud thunk ran through the air. I didn't think of that. I could have just lured the entire camp to my plan. I'd have to make this extra quick. Like clockwork, I hacked at the same spot, chipping away at the wood. Footsteps could be approaching any second. I could be captured again in any second without a chance of escape. At least I had the axe. That could hold them off. Best case scenario would be to get her out first, then at least there'd be two of us to fight them off. The impacts became quieter and quieter as I broke through, and the longer it took for them to try to recapture me made me more anxious. Come on, I accidentally said out loud. This made her perk up at me rather than the axe. Now she knew I was scared too. It wasn't for too long, however, as the lock fell to the floor. She slipped free and fell into the snow, just like I had. I waited for her to get up, but she didn't. So I took a second to calm myself down, quickly coming to the realization that I had not woken anyone up. They would have emerged by now if I did. Relief filled me instantly. However, the longer the girl didn't get up, the more I got worried. Hello? She didn't respond. Panic set in. How long was she left in the cold for? Was the pillory the only thing holding her up? I may not have liked her, but I needed her and I didn't really want her to die. She had to get to the fire. I dropped the axe and began to drag her. Her face made a trail in the snow as I did, which made me realize she may be suffocating. I made sure to turn her over and then continue to drag her to the light. Once we made it, I sat down beside her. In the firelight, her face was visible for the first time, pale but alive. I didn't know how well the fire would help as it barely gave off warmth. The temperature had fallen further. Moments like this remind me, we will all be dead soon. So why did I save her? I'd give her some time to rest. ... I'm going to take a quick drink of water, and then we'll continue with section 2. We couldn't wait much longer. The other people had to wake up soon. We still hadn't gotten the supplies yet, and the girl had only just gotten up. She took a moment to check her surroundings before she spotted me, instantly pulling away. She didn't trust me, but I didn't trust her either, so I took no hard feelings towards it. Morning, sunshine. Okay, where's the axe? She started to look around. I saved your life, and now you're going to kill me over a little comment? Almost immediately, she backed down. We remained in awkward silence. I didn't even know her name yet, so I guess this was a conversation starter. If you don't want me to call you Sunshine the entire time, I'm going to need a name. She hesitated, looking around for a moment before finally responding. My name's Rose. Yours? Luke. She chuckled. You don't look like much of a Luke to me. You're not even good looking. On the contrary, I think your parents did a fantastic job. You're a fawn inside and out. Oh, really? She took a step closer, which I mirrored. She was the one to back down. We waited for one of us to speak first, and she was the one to speak up. I could still kill you, you know. Oh, I'm betting on it. Give me a reason. She didn't even seem to have a retort, so she just stood with her back facing me. Brave for someone who just got threatened, but that wasn't going to work. Look, we can go back and forth like this, but soon they're going to wake up. If we don't have supplies and have left by the time that happens, we are most certainly dead. We need to put aside our differences, okay? She didn't budge, remaining silent, waiting at least a minute before begrudgingly responding. Fine, for now. Rose turned back to me. When this is done, we go our separate ways. I didn't get a good look at her until that point, but I just noticed she had her black hair cut short and multiple scars along her slightly less pale body. Her blue eyes stared daggers into mine, almost as cold as the air around us, but what would she be able to do? I had a good few inches on her, sitting at 5'11". She wouldn't be able to do anything against me in physical combat, but her determination. That was a survivor's determination. I would need to leave her as soon as possible. I would need to leave her as soon as we got any weapons. Who knows what she could do at that point. For now, I need her to get those supplies, then I'm out of here. I was planning to do that anyway, I responded. She took a moment, her expression now unreadable. Then she turned her back to me again, saying, Follow me. Within the darkness of the eternal night, we weaved through rows and rows of tents, most probably being set up before the blizzard. I wouldn't have been surprised if most of the people were dead at this point. Rose seemed to weave her way through them effortlessly, though. She certainly knew where the supplies were, but how? Did she used to be one of them? Was she found breaking in? Is that why she was locked up? I barely knew anything about this girl, yet I was letting her lead me through a camp of sacrificial psychopaths. Part of me wanted to ask, but I also knew the time wasn't appropriate. Even talking may wake someone up. The snow falling created an eerie set of fog around the camp, making it so every step was a chance of tripping over. I was barely able to follow her through it. Her speed didn't help. It was like she was trying to lose me. But eventually, we made a stop at 2 tents that stood out from the rest. You got to be kidding me. I could have found that easily if I tried. She must have noticed my expression. Easy, right? I didn't respond as I opened the right tent. Inside were supplies, all right. In the natural night vision, I could make out thermal suits, guns, and wayward supplies. Everything we could ever need. Lanterns, flashlights, fuel. Was there matches too? A small fire could go a long way. Well, probably a large fire at this point. Rose didn't seem to have the same mindset as me, as she immediately went for one of the thermal suits hung on a line. Why was she so quick to suit up? What was she planning? This suspicion was quickly shot down when she threw it to me instead. We're in this together, right? She wasn't able to hide her distrust in her voice as she grabbed one for herself. Put that on over your clothes. We'll need all the layers we can get out there. She started to put hers on, so I did too. Was she really not planning on killing me? Was what she said earlier just to provoke me? After what happened to... I can't trust anyone, not even her. So while I put on my new outfit, I keep my eyes on her as she does on me too. Even after we do finish getting warmer clothes, we don't look away. It reveals what we already know. Neither of us trust each other enough to not be killed, so why hide it? What do you have planned? I ask her. When are you going to kill me? She stared at me for a moment. I could say the same to you. I was in shock. To be fair, I made as many threats as her, but I would never actually go through with them. Maybe she was thinking exactly the same thing I was. You have trust issues, I get it. Who doesn't? People have tried to kill me, and probably you too. No one has tried to kill me until tonight. She takes a moment to readjust herself, shocked. Then why are you so scared of me? I'm not scared, I'm weary. Same difference. She moved a step closer to me. I didn't realize until that moment, but she had a handgun. How did she get that? I moved a step back. What do you want? She stopped in her tracks. Why are you trying to survive so bad? Oh, so you have no clue of my intentions. That's why you're scared of me, isn't it? Spot on. She was good. Too good. I'm trying to get back to the Berry Mills Institute. It's safe there, but I needed supplies to get back. She took another step forward, so I mirrored one back. You helped me do that. For that, I am grateful. But I know you're going to try to kill me. Her face shrewd as she spoke to me now. The distrust was out in the air. Why did I let her out? I have no intentions of killing you. I did, but not anymore. Just put the gun down. She looked down, only just realizing the unintentional threat she was making. And she laughed. Oh, this thing? You think I was going to kill you using this? She waved it around the room, and I flinched. I shouldn't have, because something shifted in her demeanor. She suddenly got serious. She started to walk towards me at a pace faster than mine. I couldn't escape in time, but she didn't hurt me. Instead, she shoved the gun into my hands and pointed it to herself. Then she looked me dead in the eyes. If you don't trust me, shoot me right now. End my life. Then leave. I don't care. The sudden weight of the gun threw me off, but then I had a thought. I could just do it. She gave me permission. But then I can hear the girl screaming and see the leader standing in front of my face with his smelly breath, and I remembered why I saved her. Not to kill her, but to give her a chance to live. Seriously, end my suffering. I've done such bad things, I deserve it. Her tone is provocative, her eyes wide with desperation. She's trying to convince me to do it. She wants to die. She brings her hand to the barrel and plants it against her head. Do it. She stares into my eyes, but not with coldness this time, but pleading. I barely managed to get out. No. Rose looked at me in shock, shaking the gun and pulling me in closer. No? Well, what about everything you said? What about all the mistrust in the air? You want to kill me earlier, right? This is easier, right? Do it. I just stood there, taking everything in me not to run away. She was just trying to survive, like me. I made myself a threat to her. Guilt started to creep in. She was clearly tired of my hesitation, as she screamed, Do it! Sorry for the audio quality there. Now she had done it. I pulled the gun away from her head and took a look outside. I could hear them. I turned back to her. Who's the idiot now? I quickly pocketed a compass and a radio for later use, along with a pocket knife, before turning back to her. She was stood in place, looking at nothing, as if she was somewhere completely different. Was this the best time to have a mental breakdown? I grabbed her arm, pulling her out of her daze. She flinched, but turned to me. For the first time since we met, she was looking to me for help. We're in this together, right? Rose nodded. Then grab a gun and let's go. I tried to make my voice as serious as possible, but I don't think I hid my fear that well. Rose wasn't just my supply route anymore. It was clear there was more to her, something much more painful. Maybe she didn't want to be free. Maybe she wanted to be sacrificed. There's something in me that couldn't help but relate, and suddenly she was worth protecting. For that moment, I forgot the circumstances. That was quickly brought back to my attention when I heard screaming in the distance. Find them! If we didn't leave quick, we would be found. She grabbed another couple handguns, passing one to me to pocket, along with a few magazines of ammo. As she was grabbing the last magazine she needed, lanterns turned on outside. They weren't close by, but the light would expose us if we got too close. We just needed to escape. As we went to the tent entrance, Rose and I looked to each other one more time. She was scared, but she was trying her best to hide it. I guess she didn't trust me yet, but that was okay. We just had to focus on escaping. So, we exited the tent and back into the blizzard. The fog immediately consumed my vision, but at least it wasn't too cold. The thermal suits really did the job. We snuck through the tent crevices, where I didn't end up nearly tripping over as much. Rose was quick on her feet, and so was I. That was until a light was close by. To our left, coming our way, was at least one person. I looked to Rose, who was holding her handgun, ready to fire. But if she fired, everyone would know where we were. Her expression didn't help the case either. She clearly wasn't fully there at the moment. She was in no condition to kill someone. I indicated for her to put it down. I waited for the man to pass through the gap. His growing footsteps caused me anxiety. Was I really about to do this? He rested against the tent as he entered the gap. He first looked to the pathway in front of us. I gripped the pocket knife I grabbed earlier, and just as he turned to us, I stabbed him in the throat, immediately removing it so he'd bleed out. My heart started to race as the man collapsed into the snow, as it soon turned red with his blood. My hands were shaking, but not from the cold. What was this feeling? I'd never killed someone before. It was so exhilarating. But I was also horrified. I wanted to be sick, but I couldn't right now. I dropped the knife on the floor. Our exit was just ahead, a clearing, so I tried to clear my head, but I couldn't shake the feeling. I turned to Rose for reassurance, but all I got was a horrified look mixed with relief. I saved her from doing a horrible thing and kept her alive, but she was clearly disgusted by what was done. If that wasn't one of the horrible things she claimed to do already, that is. But that didn't matter. I started to move forward again. We were so close. Just a few more steps. I felt I was free, until I heard Rose shriek behind me. The panic I felt earlier tonight settled in again, and I turned to see one of the men holding Rose at knife point. I pulled my gun out. My heart started pounding in my ears. I couldn't let her die. He said, placing the knife closer to her throat. Put the gun down, or the girl gets it. His eyes gleamed with joy. He was excited to threaten her life. He pressed it against her throat. I didn't know what to do. Every second counted. He could kill her whenever he wants, but then I could kill him. He knows this, and so do I. We were at a standstill, but I had the advantage. He was holding her at the chest. We don't need her as a sacrifice. The boss wants you. Rose suddenly stabbed him in the side with the knife I dropped, allowing herself to be removed from his grasp. But it wasn't enough, as he tried to grab her again. For a second, the world faded away, and it was only me, Rose, and the man. I shot him. He quickly collapsed to the ground, and the funny feeling in my heart was back. It wasn't as intense, though. The snow became even darker with his blood, and Rose looked to me in shock. Her chest fluctuated while she wiped a streak of his blood off her face. But there wasn't time to think about it. The lights and footsteps were approaching, and we had no time to stand still. I grabbed her hand, and we quickly ran through the storm, away from the camp, away from the lights, away from the damage we did, the lives I took. The footsteps attempted to follow us, but they slowly washed away. God, what have I done? ... As soon as we were hiding in a building, Rose and I took a moment to calm down. It felt like forever before she said, "You saved me." I could only say, "Yeah, I don't want to kill you." Neither do I. We sat there in silence, contemplating our own emotional turmoils. I had just killed 2 people, and I didn't even feel guilty about the second one. What is wrong with me? I had to do it to save us. We were going to be caught if I didn't kill the first man, and the second one would have killed Rose. I had to. So why did I feel like a monster? They were going to kill us, so why did I feel like I deserved to be dead? The blizzard wasn't the only cold thing in this apocalypse anymore. I had become cold myself. I want to save you, Rose said suddenly. What? I want to bring you to Berry Mills with me. Even if we're going to be dead in a few days, I trust you. I don't want to lose you. I looked into her eyes and everything she said was truthful, with the utmost sincerity she had, and I wondered why. I made her think I was going to kill her, and I barely knew her, yet she trusted me that much. But then I looked to the handgun, the one she handed me, begging to kill her, the same one I used to save her. The symbol of where we were and where we went, the symbol of our trust, formed through survival. I realized why. I saved her when she truly needed me, and refused to kill her. So, she trusted me. I looked back into her eyes and they were wide, searching for something in mine. I tried to give her a smile and say the best thing I could think of, but I could only say, okay. End part 1. Let's hide away that display capture. Oh, that took like 25 minutes to read. Oh, my fingers hurt. Anyway, let's move back into the middle. That was part 1 of 2 of The Desolate World. Part 2 is planned. I know what I want to do with it. I just didn't have the time to write what I wanted for it. And so I split it into 2 parts. So that was my submission for the competition. I am proud of it. I'm really proud of it. It's probably my best work I've written ever. And I thought my best work was last year when I wrote a short story for Year 12 literature. So I think this is probably a bit better. So I hope you enjoyed it despite my occasional slip-ups of talking. And I had a lot of fun reading that. I don't know if my tone was correct for all of it, but this is just a one-take release. When we do the full release with part 2 and the edits and everything, it's going to all come together. And I'm going to read it in a more monotone voice. Not monotone as in like boring, but like an audiobook, essentially. Anyway, this is my first proper video on the channel. The cover doesn't count. I will release more covers, but yeah, thank you for watching. If you did watch all the way through this story, it's probably my favorite work I've done. I think I've done a lot of creative works, and I think this is probably one of my favorites. So thank you. This does mean a lot. I do plan on uploading part 2 sometime, within maybe a week or 2, and then the full story within a couple of weeks after that. So it's exciting. I apologize for any audio discrepancies in this video or the camera quality, because I know the camera quality isn't that good. I'm sorry, it's a webcam. I can't do much about the webcam. And I can't do much about the microphone audio quality. That's why I tried to step away when I was yelling. But I do hope it was an enjoyable experience. At least the story itself. Because it's about 11 hours of writing work put into that one story. A lot of chat GPT. Look, I people talk bad about AI, but I send it in for feedback, and I don't use most of the feedback. I straight up go in, hey, this is the section I wrote. What could I do? And sometimes ChatGPT suggests some pretty cool things. Like I think it suggested to make the first kill, more cool, and with the adrenaline and everything. And I think that moment was pretty cool. I didn't use any of the suggestions it said to write it with, but I used the idea it gave me because it just enhanced the scene a little bit more, which I think is a good application of AI in terms of creative work. It's to enhance pre-existing stuff that you already have made and go, hey, how can I improve this? And then going, that won't improve it, that won't improve it. Ooh, that's actually pretty cool. I might implement that into the story. So most of the story is completely original ideas. About 0.1% of it is AI. But not AI as in that, but like AI ideas. I'm being fully open about that because it's cool just to throw it and go, hey, what have I done here? Because it helped me keep telling me that I did the pacing properly, which is the biggest thing in the story is pacing. I know I'm doing rambling here. I know most people have already clicked off at this point. So that's fine. I'm just talking about AI in creative industries. Honestly, AI should not be used to completely replace creative industries. I know that's been something that's been going on. It really sucks. But using it to help bring ideas together a bit better, I think that's a fine application of AI. Because I wrote everything, threw it in and went, hey, you could probably do this and this and this. And I went, okay, I don't think I can do this. I don't think that's going to enhance my story. I don't think that's going to enhance my story. I think that will enhance my story. And it's usually like one line or one idea to add on top of the line. I know I'm rambling about ChatGPT at the end of my story. This isn't the last story in this universe. Once I finish part 2, I got 4 more stories planned for this arc of the universe. I have 4 arcs planned. Really conceptualized. I know where this is starting. I know where this is ending. And you just have to be along for the ride. And thank you. Truly, thank you for watching. Thank you for letting me enter the competition. Again, loot in a boot. They're on the back here. You can't really see them. But check them out. They're pretty cool. I like their stuff. I'm very excited for the figures to come out. And if I'm the only one who submits this, I'm very excited to get a figure. But I'm pretty sure I'm the only one submitting. So I hope you enjoyed this. You guys, seriously, your brand is so cool. And I'm glad I got to write something for a competition for your brand. I am deeply appreciative. If you're watching this on, and this is the general people now, if you're watching this on launch day or the first 2 days, maybe 3 days, maybe a week, there's no subtitles on this video. Well, there's the basic subtitles. Maybe they'll be good. Wait, I don't even need subtitles. I just realized that. Anyway, check out my main channel. I haven't uploaded there in like 4 months, but like could be returning soon with some new videos. I know Deltarune got announced, so maybe we'll come back for some Deltarune and have some fun. I know I'm plugging my channel at the end of this video, but it's also my channel. This is my channel. The other channel is my channel. I'm allowed to plug both. I'm going to stop talking now. You can go. I'm going to end this in 5 seconds. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. And thank you so much for indulging my little rambles that I just came up with on the spot. This is how my brain works. So, if you allow me, please stick around. I promise I have ideas. I have stories that are going to take much more time to write. 10k words for this one, 25k for the next one. And then maybe 30k for the next one after that. A little epilogue story and a little bonus story for this arc. I have so much stuff planned for this arc. Thank you. Have a good day/night, wherever you are. I stole that from Luna G, who streams. Go check out Luna G. Luna G is pretty cool. Luna G wants to join my Minecraft stream and brought his chat. It was pretty cool. Also, if you're watching this Luna G, hi. Yeah, I'm showing you out the end of a random video. What the heck am I doing? Okay. Anyway, have a good night. I'm gonna stop now because I feel like if I ramble on too much, it's gonna be self-indulgent. So, thank you, Luna Boot. Go check out Luna Boot if you haven't. Join the Discord server. They have a YouTube channel. Check out the Discord server. They have a Facebook page. And I'm hoping to do some work with them at some point. So if there's anything about that, I will pop in and show off some cool stuff that is related to it. Regardless, I'll show off some cool stuff that's related to it. This channel's gonna be so much fun. I'm still talking. This channel's gonna be so much fun. I'm gonna do reactions and all this stuff on this channel. I'm gonna post some short films. This channel's my throwaway channel. Like, I do something that's not gaming, I throw it on this channel. So if you want to come see my mess of a brain everywhere, check out this channel. This is gonna be fun. I'm going to stop now. I'm going to